So, hello everyone and welcome to Exciting Media channel. So last time we have seen the arguments, different type of arguments in our functions, like a keyworded argument, default argument, and the positional argument also. So this time we are going to see about the variable length arguments. That means how we can pass multiple values in a function and it works just fine as it is. And the examples are like a length function, main function, and all those. So we are going to see that through our implementation. So let me switch my screen to show you that. So this is what we showed the last time actually. Now when I close all this, let me just clear this all, create a new file, and this file is going to be named like what they say, variable length argument. So, the title, so this is what we are going to learn today. So basically, before learning that, we are going to create a function. Basically, create a function to give the length and mean of n numbers we enter. So I am going to create a function which is going to calculate the length and the mean of the numbers that we are going to enter, or you can say we give. So for that, first we have to create a two functions. Let's say function one and function two, and the name for this function are going to be like clen, basically custom length, and for now pass. And then we got c mean, the custom function for calculating mean, and we are going to pass it. Now let's just quickly implement this function. Let's say, okay, I want to calculate a length. So for now, I'm just going to keep it as it is. For now, let's just take the function mean and let's calculate a function. Let's create a function that calculates the mean for two numbers. And I know you can easily create this type of situation, and this can be simply done by, okay, if you want to say mean, just going just to return us something like this: a plus b divided by 2. So that's the simple mean function. I know everyone knows that. But what if I say, okay, now do one thing, extend this function to take three number and calculate their mean. Okay, that's also a simple task. I will just add a new argument, put it here, and increase this 2 by 3. That's also good. Now I will say increase it to the 10 arguments. But you will say, okay, that's also a feasible part. D, E, F, G, H. I think the 8 arguments should be enough, or I should, yeah. So with this, we have actually completed the, you can say, n arguments. And what we have to do is just put the plus sign between them and just start doing everything, and at last divide them with the 10. Now this is the easy part actually. Now what if I say we have a data frame, and in the data frame there is a column which we have which have 1 lakh rows, and I want you to calculate the mean for that 1 lakh rows. So how you can do that? And I say you can't use inbuilt function. You have to create a function that is going to take the number one by one or you can say take the numbers and then calculate the mean, or you can say then calculate the length of that function. So for that, what we have to do is, first of all, let's mark this as manual and tiring approach, and then comment this whole thing. Now the other method that we have is what they say argument star arguments, or you say star args. Of course, you can name it anything. It is represented by an asterisk at the beginning, then the name of the variable. So this is how we create a variable length input for a function. So how is that? We say okay star, we say args, or you can say nums, and then we first are going to print nums here to actually see what is happening at the backend. Now when I say okay give me clan function, and in the number I'm going to pass okay this type of thing, so it should return us a tuple. Now that's the part that you should be considering every time, that this star nums is actually what represent a tuple. That means this star arg is a tuple input for our function. Basically, whatever we are going to now pass into this function, it is going to act as a tuple. So as you can see here, we have not put any tuple sign here. We have not actually typecasted them into a tuple, but still we are getting a tuple input here. And that is why is that? Because this is how it works. That means if I say for I in nums print I, and also printing nums as well as I will say type of nums. So when I do this, it should give us something like this. As you can see, we actually typed the number in a sequential manner, but right now it is saying okay, all the number that you have typed are actually tuples. So this is what the argument keyworded argument helps us. So now this function has become something like okay, if I want to increase this scope of this function, we can just simply enter other number also. Let's say I am writing any random number here to basically check okay what's the limit of this function, and when I return it something like this. So now let's say I want to run this. Sorry. Now if I want to run this again, as you can see this function return us the length, or sorry, this function is going to return us a tuple. Now our main motive was to actually uh, increase the length of this function, and of course we are going to do that, and that is by first assigning a simple variable count is equal to 0, and with the every iteration we are going to say count plus equal to 1. We are going to increase the count by 1, and we are going to return the count. So with this we have actually created a function that takes, or rather than return, we can say also return, also with return we are going to say print count. So as you can see, we have given it n number of input here, and these n number of input actually got packed into the tuple, and that tuple actually going to for loop and that for loop is just increasing a variable by one, and that variable is count, and at last it is going to returning us the count variable. So basically with this we have actually created a length function which is quite similar to the function that is present in the Python. So that means if I do the things like this, so if I do something like, okay, clen, as well as we are going to pass this into the length. Okay, now we get the error. Why is that? Because the length function is only taking a single argument. That means we have to first pack it into a list, tuple, set, dictionary, or anything else, and then we have to say, okay, now run this program, and we get the output. So essentially, we have actually created this something like this. As you can see, we get then 26, 26. Now it's not like we can just simply use this into you can say defining a problem. We can also define it as a input too. Basically, what I am saying is that we can also use that in a format like, okay, I want to create a something like an input, create a function. Let's say if I give you a program statement, let's say create a function that takes the values into a list and at last returns it. Now when I say, okay, now you have to create a function that takes n numbers and pack it into a list and create another list. So this kind of thing is just simply by we can say underscore underscore pack, and in the pack function we can just say, okay, take the n arguments, n numbers, and return us numbers, and at last I'm going to say print underscore underscore pack. Now I know this is going to return a tuple, but we can just simply typecast it for our. So with this, we have essentially created a function that just take a value. Let's say, oh sorry, I forgot to put a commas everywhere. Now let's say if I run this function, as you can see, where is it? I don't think it is present here. Okay, let's just change the name. And if I try to run this again, it's not printing this number nums. Why is that? Before that, let me just and where this problem is actually lying. Oh, right, it is actually printing the numbers here. We forgot to actually see that. So we have essentially created a function that is just taking the input from the user and packing it into the list and returning us the at last returning us the list here. As you can see here, our output. Now we can use this function in our length. You can say clen function, and from the clen function, I am just going to do one thing. I am just going to remove this, and I will say L list. So this is type indication actually. So I will tell you shortly later. In so what I'm going to do is I will take this pack function and I'm going to pass it into this main. Now it's time to take our define. Let's say I want to print. I want to print what I want to print is I want to print clen, and in the clen I am going to pass this spec function, and in this spec function I am going to pass our list of numbers and run it. Okay, it says clen takes one positional argument, but 26 were given. Oh, because we have actually did not convert this here. You can just simply comment that. I think we forgot to print actually. Okay, we have printed the count here. We have created the list here. It should have printed that. What should be the problem here? What? Actually, this is going to return a list, and clen takes a list and return us an integer. So I don't know why it is not working or not returning any kind of output here. So, so the functions are actually correct here. Wait, it will, what should we do? What should we do? What should we do? So basically, this is not showing us error. That we say it is working, but I don't know why it is not printing this error, or you can say the output. So we can just clear it for now. Try it again, and right now it's, but we have to show the difference. By default, it takes the same length. That's why it is not working. Okay, after clearing the terminal, it is working quite well, as you can see. And why is it printing 10 two times? Because the pec function here actually return us the list that we are seeing here, and the clen is actually also printing the length of the function. So that is what it is happening. So with this, we can say we have completed the star arguments. Now, when we are talking about the keyworded arguments, let's say define a function, define a function that takes input from user and creates a dictionary from it. Now there is this function that we want to define. Let's say we define map detail, and in this we create okay name, age, school, or maybe you can say experience, or okay, that's all. And what we can do is we can just simply return a dictionary, and in the dictionary we can say name, age, age, and here we can say experience, and here experience. So that's the simple function that we can create for this problem statement. But now what if I say you, okay, do one thing, now this time add the you can say blood group 2, you can say residence. So let's say for like you have done creating some program, but your boss say okay, we have checked with our client, and the requirement has been changed. Now you have to enter 10 more demographic details to our program. So this time, what will happen is you will just going to completely change this flow, this function first, and of course it is going to create a blunder. But now you have to create, you can say more 10 more arguments here, and manually type this dictionary. Now this approach is working. This approach is fine if you are, you can say, if you are ready to do the hard labor. But I will not recommend that. You can just simply put the map dictionary here, map details here function, and in it you can pass the arguments like name, age, and experience. Let's say point. Let's say I will say I have half year experience. So let's say this. So when I execute it, it is going to return as a dictionary. That's good. But now after the boss says, okay, you have to change this type of thing. So what you can say again, create a map function, map detail function, but this time you are going to use a keyworded argument. Now, now as you can see, it is saying keyworded argument. That means we are going to return Quarks and print map details. And in the map details, we are going to say, okay, the name should be this, and the age should be, sorry, the age should be this, and experience should be this, and you can say skill should be Python C++, comma, data and ML. Now, this is what we are actually going to print this time. Now, as you can see, just passing this star or you can say keyworded argument here, we have actually automatically created a dictionary where the you can say the keyword is actually the dictionary key, and the value is the value passed in inside the that. Now this is how a keyworded argument works, and it is quite great when we are creating something like, okay, create a database management system by yourself from scratch, and this should take, okay, you can say user can have, it is not a fixed format that what user is going to enter, and if there are always be this type of schema that user is going to follow, so this kind of thing can also be implemented using this keyworded argument. So with this, I'm going to say we have completed actually the keyworded argument aspect of our program. So that's all, and let's meet in the next video. Until then, goodbye.